Psychometric assessment for large language models. What is that? Why are we doing this? What is this app that's in front of you? What is this video about? And why does this matter? Well, I'm Jake Van Cleef. If you don't know me, I'm a researcher, I'm a writer, I work in AI, I work in psychometric, I work in governance, I worked with the University of Edinburgh, a whole bunch of other people. I won't bore you with the details, but essentially I wrote a paper as my master's thesis where I realized that the data you can pull from multiple models uh, is very useful when you use psychometric scales. You know, personality tests, the things we use for IQ, things like that, to figure out how humans react in certain situations. Well, it's also important for getting data out of these language models and can actually provide very useful data. Well, I'm not going to be justifying what or why that's important, considering I wrote an entire paper. And if you would like to read through it and explore why I think this is important, go ahead. If not, you're probably clicking it because you want a tutorial on how to use the software that I created from my paper. And this is a much more advanced version compared to when I first published my paper. However, I just wanted to do a nice kind of tutorial. So when you come in, again, all the links will be in the description of this YouTube video. All you do is simply get API access. And what you're actually going to do is just get your API keys. Don't worry, they're not stored. I do not keep them. This is all stateless currently. Eventually, we're going to open up kind of security and authentication. But right now, it's all client side. So I try to keep it all nice and crypt that way. And in this case, right, let's say you already have an API key. You just come in, drop it in there. Here's OpenAI. You can validate it. I'll check to make sure that it's good. You have 23 models available with that account. Let's say you also have Anthropic and you're trying to test models from Anthropic as well. You just throw that API key in there, validate, and continue that process for all of the different models that you would like to use. You don't need one for all of these. You can even just do it with one. You can easily add more. Let's say maybe you have some self-hosted ones that you are trying to test that you've built or fine-tuned yourself. And I can easily add a lot more to this. I've just kind of kept it with the big guys right now, as that's where a lot of the kind of testing and reason behind this testing seems important. Now, from there, you can actually select your psychological scales. I have a lot already hard-coded in for you to choose from. Right-wing authoritarianism is one of the scales I use in my paper. It lets you look at the scales. It gives a citation to the original paper that the scale was used in. Right-wing authoritarianism actually has 2 scales right now, and you can select as many as you'd like, depending on how many scales you want to do in a single run and test the AI on it. You can choose moral foundation, social dominance, Rosenberg self-esteem scale, right? And kind of put all of this together. You can also add your own scale, right? Scale name, the description, which the citation is, what the response scale. So, right, what are the points? Is it 1 to 7, 1 to 5? What the items are, what the question text is, as well as being reverse scored, and you can add them all yourself. But these are a lot of the big scales, and in the future, I'm going to automate this process a lot more. Now, when you actually put your API keys in, it will auto-generate and look. And this is the really big part of my software right here, is this is a super challenging process to do on your own as a researcher. And I wanted to make this simple and easy. And so when you put that API key in, you automatically get a choice of all the models available to that API key, right? So I can test all of these models in automation as much as I want. In this case, for this demo, I'm going to choose GPT-4 Mini from OpenAI. I'm going to choose Claude 3 Haiku from Anthropic. Again, you can choose all of their other bigger models as well. And then I'm going to choose Grok 3 Mini from xAI. Now, once you've chosen your models, you know the models you want to do psychometric testing on, you can simply scroll down again and choose persona selection. Again, in my paper, I look at specifically US type personas, and I have my own prompts already set up for them. And you can click those as you want. There's also just a minimal baseline and a neutral one. This one is politically focused neutral. This is minimal with no essential ideological framing or demographics. You can also create a custom persona depending on what you're trying to test, what demographic, what bias is in the data or the responses of these models. You can give a description of what it is, and more importantly, you can put the prompt right here and simply add that persona. You can also use AI to generate multiple personas. So in this case, simply saying, you want a series of UK personas or maybe different types of personas in a certain area and you want to mass produce them, it will do that, and you can just simply hit generate, and you can even choose your model provider there as well. Now, From there, let's say you've decided, you've selected all of the personas you want. You roll down and you can actually set the temperature, right? And increase the temperature all the way up or keep it down. You can decide how many runs you want, 5 runs, 500 runs, 20 runs, things like that to be able to do. In this case, we're just going to do 1 run with 3 models. I didn't even choose a assessment, which is important too. This will let you know all of the items, the models, the personas, and the runs, and how many API calls you're going to make. So I'll go ahead and come back up, and I'll go ahead and pick moral foundations. Why not? Now from there, what's actually happening is for every question on the scale, for every persona prompt you've provided, and for every model, we're going to send an individual API call to every single one of these models separately. Then we'll actually compile all of them and put them into one large JSON file as well as a CSV file. And so what's happening right now, it's going through, it's calling all the models. I'm doing it asynchronously, so we're able to do it very quickly. If this was sequential, it would take hours, but I've been able to get it to do it very quickly. And it shows you the rates, it shows the estimated times, it shows who's kind of currently being processed at that moment, how many API calls you're actually processing, and of course the percentage and times for it there. Most of the bigger calls, when you're actually doing real testing and repeatable testing, are going to take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. That is quite long. So of course, if you walk away from your computer, just make sure not to refresh the page or change it. But it shouldn't time out. I've put in a lot of timeout consistency things. But if you do, obviously reach out and let me know, and I'll try to fix it. I'm building this all myself, so give me a little bit of slack if you can. And as you can see, as it comes towards the end, it should just be finishing up here. And once the final requests and processes are done, it'll tell you the success rate. On larger processes, some things may refuse to respond, so there'll be refusals from the model depending on the question. There'll be parse errors perhaps because I'm using a lot of traditional programming, not AI, to go through this so we can verify the results. And you can go through and kind of see the statistics, how well they answered, what the items were. You can download a CSV, and it'll actually create a large CSV file, or you can download the JSON file, and you'll be able to essentially see all of the data organized very well by name, by process, by time, by persona, by what they chose on the scale. And then you can do whatever you'd like with the data. There's all sorts of research and visualizations, and eventually I'll create automation in here to actually do that for you. But right now, a lot of researchers are just wanting the data. In the future, I'm going to use all this JSON data to kind of compile into a larger database that other researchers can also query and mess around with. And that'll be fun, but that'll take some time. But that is the ethics engine. And if you want to get rid of all of that, you just simply hit refresh. It is stateless. It doesn't save any personal information about you. And if you want any more information on it, the GitHub is right there in the link. That goes deeper, where you can actually dive into the logic of the front end and the back end, as well as my original PRD and kind of Claude MD styles for it, why I chose what I chose. So thank you so much. Again, if you want to read the paper, want to dive into it, it's all there. I hope this is helpful.